The boy who survived alone in the jungle for 10 years. Imagine being 8 years old. No parents, no shelter, no food supply, no language spoken for years. Just endless trees, dangerous animals, hunger, rain, fear, and silence. Now imagine surviving like that. Not for days, not for months, but for 10 years. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a movie plot. This is a story that challenges everything we think we know about human survival, instinct, and resilience. A child lost in the jungle, a decade alone, and a mind that slowly transformed to survive a world without people. Tonight, we tell the haunting and extraordinary story of the boy who survived alone in the jungle for 10 years and what happened when civilization finally found him. The disappearance. The story begins quietly, in a rural region near a dense tropical jungle. The boy, let's call him Arun, was born into a poor family living near the forest edge. Life was hard, but familiar. His world was small, a home, a few animals, his parents' voices, and the constant warning to never wander too far into the jungle. But one day, everything changed. Accounts differ. Some say Arun followed a stray dog. Others say he went to collect fruit and lost his way. A few believe there was an accident, or even neglect. What is certain is this: Arun entered the jungle and never came back. Search parties were formed. Villagers shouted his name. Days turned into weeks, but jungles do not give back what they take. Eventually, hope faded. Arun was declared lost, presumed dead. But the jungle had other plans. The first days alone. For a child, the jungle is not just a forest, it is a living nightmare. Every sound feels like a threat. Every shadow feels alive. The first nights were the hardest. Arun cried until his voice vanished into the trees. He slept in fear, curled against roots and rocks, waking at every movement. Rain soaked him. Insects bit him. Hunger clawed at his stomach. But children possess something powerful: adaptability. Instinct slowly replaced panic. He learned to stay still. He learned that noise attracted danger. He learned to observe, and observation became survival. Learning to live. Hunger became Arun's greatest teacher. At first, he ate leaves and raw roots, many of them poisonous. He became sick, weak, near death. But over time, trial and error shaped knowledge. He watched animals. Which berries did birds eat? Which fruits did monkeys avoid? He learned to drink rainwater from leaves, to crack nuts using stones, to dig for insects and larvae, protein in its rawest form. Fire was beyond him. Tools were primitive, but the human mind is relentless. He sharpened rocks, used thorns as weapons, built crude shelters from branches and mud. The jungle was no longer just an enemy. It became his entire world. The boy becomes something else. Years passed, and something irreversible began to happen. Without human contact, Arun slowly forgot language. Words disappeared. Thoughts became images and instincts. He stopped walking upright all the time. He learned to move silently, crouched, alert. His senses sharpened. He could hear footsteps from far away, smell predators before seeing them, sense rain hours before it fell. Fear didn't vanish, but it evolved. He knew which animals to avoid, which sounds meant danger, which paths led to safety. Loneliness became normal, and that may have been the most tragic transformation of all. Close calls with death. Surviving 10 years meant escaping death countless times. Wild animals stalked him. Snakes struck near his feet. Floods destroyed shelters overnight. Once, a large predator chased him into a tree, where he remained frozen for hours, barely breathing. Another time, fever nearly killed him. No medicine, no help, just endurance. The jungle tested him daily, and somehow, he passed. Sighting. 10 years after his disappearance, something extraordinary happened. Villagers deep near the forest reported seeing a strange figure. A small, human-like shape moving unnaturally fast, barely clothed, covered in dirt and scars. At first, people dismissed it as myth. But then came footprints, shelters, signs of human presence. A search team was formed, not to rescue a boy, but to investigate a mystery. What they found shocked them. When they finally saw him, they didn't see a child. They saw a wild human. Arun did not speak. He did not approach. He watched when they moved, fast, silent, terrified. It took days to corner him gently. No force, no weapons, only food. When they finally captured him, he screamed, not in words, but sounds. The jungle had been his home. Humans were now the strangers. Return to civilization. Arun's return was not a happy ending. It was a second survival story. He didn't understand clothes, didn't recognize mirrors, didn't respond to his name. He refused cooked food, hated confined spaces, panicked at crowds. Doctors confirmed the truth. Physically alive, psychologically fractured. Language therapy took years. Social behavior had to be relearned. Some abilities never returned. What the jungle took and gave. The jungle took his childhood, his family, his innocence. But it gave him something rare, a living example of raw human survival. Arun became proof that humans are not just builders of cities, but creatures of nature, capable of adaptation beyond imagination. His story forced scientists to question, how much of humanity is learned? How much is instinct? And what happens when civilization disappears? Where is he now? Today, Arun lives quietly, away from cameras, away from crowds. He speaks, but rarely. He remembers, but selectively. The jungle never truly left him. Sometimes, he still prefers silence, still avoids people, still watches the world like an outsider. Because for 10 years, the jungle raised him. This is not just the story of a lost boy. It is the story of what remains when everything familiar is stripped away. No rules, no society, no comfort, just survival. It reminds us that beneath our technology, our language, and our cities, we are still animals of instinct. And sometimes, the most powerful stories are not about conquering nature, but about becoming part of it. If you were alone in a jungle for 10 years, would you survive? Or would the jungle change you forever?